Good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's weekly debrief. Okay, just for a start, what we are looking here is actually the Federal Reserve balance sheets on their buying program and money printing, or so-called unlimited QE. So, just to have a sense where we are right now, is that the Federal Reserve still have roughly about 7 billion of assets. Okay, so this is somehow like the QE4, this whole part due to COVID. All right, and then we this whole part is where we have our QE1, 2, and 3. All right, we will take a look now at the S&P 500 index, and what we can see is that the US market is continue to make new high. Okay, from last week I already mentioned that it's still continue going to trend up. And mainly this is being fueled by the tech stocks. All right, your Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, and such. Mainly by this Nasdaq 100 index. So you can see Nasdaq mostly it's like tech stock, medical stocks. The percentage move is higher. And then a lot of the companies are also part of the S&P 500. So that is pushing up the whole S&P 500 index moving upwards. Okay, so whereas the Dow Jones is still languishing, not as strong as the other two, and it still have not make a breakout to make a new all-time high. Okay, so but overall in the whole global market, the US market is still the strongest, probably because they are also doing a lot of threats against many countries, especially China. So they somehow had an upper hand in this. Okay, so but the thing is, we have to be mindful that end of the year right now is the US presidential election coming, and it's going to happen in November. All right, so whatever is going to happen is bound to, well, rock the market. Whichever president is going to be elected. Okay. Now for Europe, I tend to look at German DAX, and we can see here that the DAX has been on the move. All right, and today had a nice rally upwards. Okay, so this is a positive sign, as you can see that they are trading somewhere near towards their pre-COVID days. Okay, so the Europe side, I would say they are recovering, whereas for UK it is still weak. Okay, so Europe excluding UK is like seems to be recovering, whereas for the Asia side, the good thing is for China, it seems to be good. It's inching up towards its resistance. Okay, so as mentioned previously, when it did this rally, right, it's bound to consolidate for some time. So at this moment, it's already consolidating for a month. Okay, and most likely in the next few weeks, right, it's likely to break out and continue its trend. Okay, so that's for China, but whereas for Hong Kong is telling a different story. It is still compared to China is weak and is languishing right at the bottom of this channel line. This two channel, this is the trend channel. Okay, and it's languishing right at the bottom. So it might break down like anytime, due to bad news or something. Okay, so we just have to be mindful what is going to happen. What's in Hong Kong. And this red bar here is done mainly by the financial sector in Hong Kong, which later I will go through with it. Okay. So as for our Singapore, last week I already mentioned that Singapore market is weak. So if you compare to Hong Kong, you compare to China, you can even compare to Japan. In terms of relative performance strength, you can see that Singapore is actually languishing right at the bottom. Okay, but the good thing is, from what I see, it seems to be bottoming out. Okay, but it might take some time. It's probably a few more months, before it might be able to turn up. So we just have to see how our Singapore market or our government is doing to reopen our economy, and they're making efforts to reconnect. So I think recently there are news that they really connect with China, New Zealand, Australia, and then now they are trying to reconnect with Brunei. Okay, so as they start to open borders, the economy is likely to recover in years to come lah. So most likely it's going to be next year. Okay, so for Singapore, as we can see, the most of the COVID numbers are coming down worldwide. Um, I would say in terms of healthcare, medical stocks, it is going to be less. There'll be less demands for their products. Okay, so what we can see is that I've mentioned like 2-3 weeks really that the healthcare medical sector is going to be resting, consolidating. So and it's continue to do so. Even like others, glove making, PPE manufacturers, and all that, they are consolidating. So people are still thinking whether will there be more demands in the months to come. Okay, so when COVID numbers goes down, I think the prospect is getting lesser for these companies. But the tech sector, the one that I think we should be looking at strongly, I mentioned it's been consolidating, and then today it seems that the whole tech sector is moving. Okay, so this is AEM. You can see today we had a move, a small little move, with increased volume. Okay, so if in the tech sector, AEM is the strongest, all right, in terms of price performance or what. So if you are in terms of momentum trader and you want to trade the strongest stocks, then AEM is what you should be looking at. Okay, so it depends on what type of trader you are. You can look at trading trends. If you break out this trend line, you can look to trade this. Okay, or you can look at if it makes a new all-time high. Okay, so it's all-time high somewhere between 430, or you can look at trading this trend line as it break out. So it depends on your trading pattern. Okay, for the benefit for those who just entered, I mentioned the sector that we should be looking at is the tech sector, with the strongest one is AEM. Okay, so the second one that I see is venture. Okay, so it has done a small consolidation. Last week I mentioned it was bound to have one drop. So it did this drop with increased volume, and then thereafter it starts to go back up again. Okay, so from here, most likely you can look for a trade, when it break up the new high at about 2060, or you can even look at maybe buying a small position here first, okay, and then make a stop loss like uh, big stop loss, like 1850 or something. Okay, so this will mainly be a more of a short-term trade or trend trading, looking for it to go higher. When we see that the previous trend it has went to is roughly like $28 or something, so we would like to see if this one can continue its same trend and test its previous high. So that's venture. IP also similarly had this move, so I'm not too sure why, but basically it's the whole tech sector, tech manufacturing is moving. Okay, you have UMS. Right. Similarly, it actually bounced off this $1 like support area, 99 cents to $1 area. So it bounced off. This is a good sign. Okay, so you can probably look at a position over here, for a continuation of trend. And this is Franken. Similarly, also have a nice run today. Among the fundamentals, Valuetronics seems to be the best, but it seems in terms of chart pattern, it is like languishing right at the bottom. Okay, so mainly is waiting for it to break above this trend line. Okay, you can break above, then it's a good thing. Okay, you can look at it to trade. Okay, this stock is something that is very interesting. Okay, that I also have mentioned before. Okay, so what happens is that there's a move, the past few days, and it's been trading sideways. Today had a share buyback that happened. Okay, with them buying 1.5 million shares, roughly average price 31.48. Okay, so what I see is that they actually increased their own ownership to like 68%. Okay, so with that purchase, right, they increased their own ownership to 68%. Previously, they are doing the software. They tie up with a European fintech company called Dreams. Okay, so that might be material to their revenue, in the months to come. Okay, so this is more like a turnaround stock. Okay, so that is Silver Lake. Now, last week I mentioned that the sector that seems to be coming up is the REIT sector, the commercial REITs, commercial or retail REITs. Okay, so this is Capital Mall. Okay, so yesterday have a large range, a lot of selling, and they're still buying, and then today there's quite a high volume of selling. Okay, so I'm not too sure what is happening. There seems to be bull and bear fighting with the deal happening. Okay, so um, this one comes hand in hand. So most likely it has something to do with the deal that is with Capital Mall acquiring Capital Commercial. Okay, so but overall we are seeing this like an up move in this sector. Okay, so some of the others like Fraser Centerpoint Trust. Last week already mentioned about this. It already break above this trend line. Okay, and then today as a move, it continue to move upwards, making a new high, intermediate high. Okay, so you can look at trading days. Most likely it might be turning up. Maple Tree Commercial similarly it did this, it pulled back and then bounced off the support 191. We bounced back off and then it's like trying to turn upwards. Similarly, Sunterra showing all quite the same pattern. So you can see the 50-day, 20-day is like trying to turn up. Okay, so it's been trading sideways, so it's a good sign. It's trading sideways with lower volume, and it's inching on the upward side. So most likely it's going to trend upwards or turn up. Okay, so I think this is also in line with probably today's PM speech. Not too sure what he spoke about, but it seems to be like um, people are opening up. More shops are opening up. They are trying to help Singapore businesses and stuff. So, and I'm seeing people are going out to shop more. They don't really care much about say social distancing or something. So that's why I'm mentioning that in the months to come, right, this might likely start to come back, because in terms, if rent starts to go up, the shop starts to earn more money due to more revenue, traffics, then the REITs will be earning more from the tenants. Okay, so like for this Star Hill Global REIT is still flat, lying in Orchard, Takashimaya. So this also seems to be turning up. It's right at the bottom. Whereas the strongest one I will still consider is the industrial REITs. All right, so this is Ascendas REIT. Recently did a pullback, consolidation. So I would say this is quite nice, and then it did sideways for a week, or almost a week. So this support area like 328 seems to be, I would say, is holding well. Okay, and it coincides with the previous high, this high. So you break above, now rest above this. So this is a good sign. Okay, so most likely it might rest probably 1 or 2 more weeks, and then continue its uptrend, or recovery. And for those who doesn't mind about the lower yield, this is Keppel DC REIT. Previously break off its all-time high, and then now consolidating again. Okay, so we have to look at to see whether it can break above this high or not of 307. And one more. Yeah, this is Fraser Logistic Trust. Currently testing is it all-time high? I think it's all-time high. Okay, so from here you can also look to do a trade, for those who do like swing trading or even trend trading. Okay, you can look at it to break this high here like 140, around 140. So the stocks I've mentioned before, not too sure whether you guys have remember this stock. During the circuit breaker, I mentioned this Taksing packaging deals in cardboard boxes. They have a lot of factories in Singapore, China, I think Vietnam also. So um, due to circuit breaker, a lot of people are doing online buying. They buy online stuff, buy from Taobao, buy from overseas, Amazon and all that. And so they are manufacturing carton boxes or packaging boxes. So I think last time I mentioned about somewhere here, May, June, around this area. So now it's already turned up. Okay, trade above the 200-day moving average. So you want to see if you can, if you happen to drop down, or you can look to buy and collect. The dividend, this one I remember 3.5%. Okay, and pre-COVID days it was like 80 plus cents. Okay, so most likely might trend upwards towards there. Then of course Jumbo is a stock that has not broken out yet. Okay, last week I mentioned about this trust bar, and then it's been trading sideways. I think this price drop is because of a news that they are forced to close an outlet due to breach of safe distancing measures. Okay, so most likely might rest for a while longer due to the news. Okay, so for Singapore is mainly such. I would say there are still few penny stocks that are still running or breaking out, but the strength of the penny stocks, from what I see, is not that strong as the past few weeks. Okay, so as some of these stocks, the tech stocks and REITs coming up, right, then I think next we'll be looking at could be the banks really. Okay, so hopefully our numbers continue to stay low, businesses continue to pick up, then that would be good overall for economy. I have a question. Someone asked me about the Hong Kong financials. As I mentioned just now, the Hong Kong had a sell down uh, past few days ago. Okay, so it's mainly being driven down by the banks in Hong Kong. Okay, so this is ICBC. So we have this sell down that happened. This is Bank of China. Okay, CCB. Okay, so there's all this sell down. It's mainly the banks in Hong Kong or probably China related banks. This is ABC, Agricultural Bank of China. Okay, so it's just to let you guys have a look. This is Ping An, doing in financials, insurance company in China. Okay, so there's this selling that's happening. Okay, but I think someone asked about whether can they invest in Ping An. Um, Ping An being one of the, I think, top 5 or top 10 insurance company in the world, I think it's quite safe, to invest in Ping An or even AIA or so. So looking at this, Ping An seems to be right now trading at its support area. Okay, so if this one starts to turn up, right, then you can possibly look at buying into this company, you know. Okay, so this is Ping An. And Min Bank, or even Hong Kong Bank is also having this sell down. So the whole financial sector in Hong Kong is the weakest, and therefore we start to see the Hong Kong market, right, has been trending this way, even though it's trying to inch up, being pulled up by China, but it's still considered weak. It's mainly because of financial. So I'm not too sure, but next month or probably 1 or 2 more weeks, we know that Alibaba and I can't remember the company, JD.com or something is going to be, or Xiaomi, sorry, Xiaomi and Alibaba is going to be included into Hong Kong index. So I'm not too sure whether will that have a big impact or not on this Hong Kong tracker fund 2800. Okay, and then probably in time to come there might be more included, and then reduce the financial weightage on the Hong Kong index, because we know financials has a 50% weightage on the Hong Kong index. Okay, so when the whole all the banks are dropped, basically the whole Hong Seng index is very weak, despite despite like Alibaba, being moving up so much, and like this is JD.com. We have Xiaomi. Okay, Xiaomi also have a very very strong run. Okay, so this is in anticipation that they are going to be included into the index in the next 1 to 2 weeks time. Okay, so if you want to have exposure, then Hong Kong Travel Fund is the way to go lah. Or if you don't mind, then you just buy the individual stocks. But at this moment, I will say is a little bit high. On the high side, okay, is bound to have a sell down. In fact, today already start to have some selling happening. Okay, so wait for it to pull back, and then you just invest in it for the long term. Okay, so for like Xiaomi just recently only break out its all-time high. So for those who trade long-term trend trading, usually this around this price, 22 cents is a good price to accumulate. Okay, when it starts to pull back down. I can show you an example. So Alibaba this is something that I've traded before. Okay, so as it breaks out, as it breaks out its new all-time high, okay, and then it retests back its all-time high price, and then it starts to trend up again. Yeah, so I would say probably Xiaomi might do the same thing also. Okay, so you can just watch out for that. Okay, so Xiaomi ticker number 1810. Okay, so this is mainly the Hong Kong stock, and we can know the whole world tech stock is running. The whole tech is the hot sector lah in the world right now. So if you want to trade short term, mid term, I think focus more on the tech stock. Okay, so like in the US, you have your Amazon, Facebook, Google, Apple, Microsoft. These are stocks, or even this what I call Taiwan Semiconductor. Okay, so even Taiwan Semiconductor has a nice consolidation sideways. Okay, so you can also look into trading this stock, for trend continuation. Okay, so then in Hong Kong, you might be looking at Alibaba, Xiaomi, even Tencent. Tencent seems to be consolidating right now and might be looking to move again, to continue its trend. Okay, it's consolidation at the moment. Okay, so these are the stocks, in Hong Kong, and then in Singapore, you will know that it's mainly the AEM Venture, Hype, UMS, Silver Lake. These are the stocks to look at for in terms of getting exposure into tech. Okay, so that's the end of the meeting.